half drawn down. A glass coffee table was in front of the sofa, and an ugly, old-fashioned 2-bar electric fire was set in front of the fireplace. There were no books or pictures. The ceiling was high, a glass bowl with one light bulb inside, and the corpses of flies hung from the centre. The wind suddenly soughed through the weather outside with a mournful whistling sound. Paul picked up a brass bell in the shape of a crinolined lady from the coffee table and rang it. The door slowly opened, and an elderly woman came in wearing a droopy dress and a flowered pinafore. Women's lib has a hard time in some places in the far north of Scotland, making even the slightest impression. So the pinafore was of the sort you see in old photographs, covering nearly the whole body. "Coffee," ordered Paul. "What is old Granny Dinwiddie doing working for you?" exclaimed Hamish. "She's got arthritis and is well into her 80s. "People charge too much round here, so I always go for the one who needs the money most." "So she is paid below the minimum wage." "Did I say that?" "How long have you two been a pair?" Charlie rose to his feet. He picked up Paul as if he weighed little more than a child and said, "Hamish and I have been together for a bit, but I often fancy a wee bit on the side." "Oh, put him down," said Hamish. "That one couldn't see a joke if it jumped out of his soup and bit him in the bum." Charlie dropped Paul back in his chair and patted him on his bald head. "Get out of here," raged Paul. "I find you disgusting." "Be very careful," cautioned Hamish, "or I'll have you for a hate crime." "I speak as I find," shouted Paul. "Aye, with no thought for anyone else's feelings. Good day." "What a wee horror," commented Charlie as they both climbed into the police Land Rover. Hamish did not start the engine but stared bleakly out at the steel-grey waters of the man-made loch, round which nothing grew except a few stunted trees, and, as Eliot said of Rannoch Moor, no birds sang. "I don't like him," said Hamish at last. "There's death in the air." "Oh, come on, Hamish, unless you think he's going to slave-drive Mrs. Dinwiddie into an early grave." Hamish shrugged. "I'm imagining things. This village eye gives me the creeps. Let's get back to the station and have a fry-up. I'll call on Granny Dinwiddie later." "Stop off at Patel's," said Charlie. "He's got venison sausages." "You never take the dogs with you now, like you did when you had the wildcat." "They're fine," said Hamish. "They've got the flap on the door, so they can come and go. Better that than cooped up in a vehicle." Hamish often felt like a little piece of his heart had left with the large cat. The cat's replacement, the little white-haired poodle called Sally, did nothing to stop Hamish's feelings of loss, although Luggs seemed delighted with this new companion. Hamish sometimes felt Luggs was being, well, unfaithful, and then cursed himself for being so sentimental. They found the normally placid Mr. Patel in a rage. "I am Scottish," he shouted. "So you are," said Hamish. "Who's been saying otherwise?" "A wee fat manny. Came in here yesterday and said, 'You immigrants do well for yourself.' Says I, 'Look, Mac, I'm Scottish.' He sneers, 'Oh, yeah, where did you get that tan? You're as brown as my boots. You natives should go back where you came from.'" Hamish's hazel eyes gleamed. "Did anyone hear him?" "No, the shop was empty at the time." "Charlie," said Hamish, "take a statement from him." Over a mammoth breakfast, Hamish said, "We can try to arrest him for a hate crime, but we need proof." "Oh, there's the door. What now?" He opened the door, and the small figures of the Currie sisters scuttled in, spinster twins dressed in identical camel-hair coats with identical glasses and identical permed hair. Nessie shouted, "Arrest him!" "Who?" asked Hamish. "Thon Mr. English. Do you know what he said to Jessie?" "Said to Jessie," chorused her sister, who always repeated the last line of anyone's conversation, like Browning's brave thrush trying to recapture that first fine, careless rapture. "Tell me." "He said she needed to go to a psychiatrist and get a mind of her own." "Of her own," sighed Jessie. "I can't arrest him for that. Has he upset anyone else?" "He told Mr. Wellington that his sermons were boring, but it was what he said to Mrs. Wellington." Hamish ignored the Greek chorus that was her sister. "He said she was fat."